This is Brad. So today I'm going to be doing a install of the Motech SysBag WP on the right side of my Ducati Scrambler. It's a 2021, and as you can see on this side, I already do have one of them already installed. It was more so just a test to see if I enjoyed it, and I did actually really like the bag setup, so I ordered the right side. I do know that they're both small. I know some people have stated on some of my pictures before that the medium size goes on the left and the small size goes on the right, and that actually looks pretty good. I may do that in the future, but for right now they're both just going to be small. Mostly because I did that because I was under the assumption that we needed to have equal balance on both sides of the bike to make it a little bit easier to handle. But as you can see here, we have the gear that you're going to need other than the bags that are up on top of the hood of the car over there. We have a 4mm Allen, and then also a 6mm, and then I have a small flat tip screwdriver to get one of the pieces off the plastic little plugs that go underneath the bottom of the seat. Those, in my experience on the last time, actually were really difficult to get off, so I did actually loosen them up a little bit this time. And then on the right side there is going to be the back plate for the bags, which I will show you after I get the side carrier on. So it's called an SLC carrier. Obviously when you go to their website, you need to make sure you get the right side and not the left side if that's what you're doing is the right. So make sure that is specific to each. They were sold separately whenever I bought them. I think there is a kit that you can get, and I'll put a link to that in the notes of the video here so you can actually go and see. So as you can see, you're going to remove a couple things here. So the first thing you're going to do is these two pieces right here, these little plugs, those are going to need to be removed right there, right there. And then underneath is you're going to have two bolts to pull out, this one and this one. And then what that's going to do is that's going to drop this a little bit. And then also up here on top, you're going to remove this. And then this will let this come down so you're able to actually get to this part of the bar. And you'll also notice that there is a spacer there. Whenever you do yours, you're actually not going to have that spacer there more than likely. I have it there because it does come with two in the kit, as you saw. So to make it even, I did them both, even though I just did one. So, but it does come with two. So in the kit over here, you're not going to use those spacers today. So, because I already have those in there. So it's kind of an odd angle. So, but just to get you in here. So the first thing is going to be this bolt up here at the top. Again, 4mm. Take that off to the side. And you'll notice it comes with a little rubber washer. Put that off to the side there. Then down below, the one that had the spacer, remember that? Pretty simple. I meant to tell you that the directions that come with it, just a piece of paper, QR code, of course. Welcome to the future for those of you that needing that. I do. I actually looked at it just to make sure, even though I've already done it once. So as you can see, this is the bolt and spacer for that. It's exactly what that one is there. So, and you see that brought that down. So now what we'll do is we'll take these pieces off the screwdriver here. Get it underneath here. So now this is going to be the fun part. So in here we're going to have these the 2 larger bolts, the ones that are going to be for the 6mm hex. So really, apologies for getting in front of it, if I am in front of it, which I'm sure I am. Get that started. Get the second one started. So like I said, the directions says to pull down the whole entire tail tidy there. So you may want to do that if it's just getting a little bit of a struggle bus like it is with me. So I did get this started. I don't know, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but one thing that I always do when I do screws is that I always set them in there and then turn them as I was loosening them, so to the counterclockwise, and then that way they kind of set into the first thread, and then I start turning clockwise to actually do the tightening. So in this case, that's exactly what I did. So I know that's probably really difficult to see. And here, start them. And as with anything, it's always a good idea not to just tighten something down completely. Try not to hit your nice little metal there. Take care not to do that. Yeah, I think you do it, keep it loose and just kind of rotate, just like it would when you put it on your tires. You rotate from one side to the other. Just keep it here. And I'm trying to remember if there was a torque specs for this. There may be. So what I'm going to do is look that up real quick and see if there was a torque spec. And yes, there were. Torque spec settings for it. It is, according to the instructions. So there was a torque spec on that. It was 35 Newton meters. So here I have my extension bar. So here, going in here, definitely wasn't going to be able to get it with that. So using torque wrench, 35. Because there's that. Looks like I already had it tightened down pretty much a little bit, just turned a little. Okay. All right, so that's 35 Newton meters. And I was just using the Tecton. I did a bunch of research. I may do another video about that in the future, about torque wrenches. I mean, you can also do a ton of, there's a lot of people that talk about them, but really, I hadn't had a torque wrench in years, and I was like, well, let me just get one, and this one seemed to be okay. The okay reviews, so I just went with that one. So now that we are there with that, then now we can tighten up our tidy here. Get back under again. Get it started a little bit here. And also the top part. Now don't forget the little plastic washer. Definitely don't want to lose that. And you'll notice on these, at least for this top part here, torque specs, not necessarily a, there may be, but you'll notice on a lot of bikes, especially if they're newer and haven't been weathered for very long, there's always paint on the placement of the nut in the bolt. So you can always tighten to that point you can, or get as close as you can to it, like in this case here, it is off a little bit. So, and I don't know if that's just the nature of, you know, a little bit of age. So even though this is a 2021, but still, so. And then down here, oh, so see, we did that. Oh, we were wrong. See, look at that. See, it's called mistakes already. Take that back off. Spacer goes on the inside of the plastic. So you see how that's tight up there at the top. I'm going against everything I've said here about that part of it. It's plastic, so I'm not totally sweating it too bad. But like, if had this been metal on metal, or trying to do a bracket like we were doing up here, and it was that tight, you could definitely see how trying to get that back into place would have been a struggle bus. So, per the directions, you need to make sure that you put the spacer in between the plastic, this part here. The spacer needs to go on the inside. And again, here, no marking on this because these are the bolts that actually come with the kit. So just tighten them. Don't over tighten. I guess you don't want to strip it. I mean, I think a good rule of thumb is when you're tightening some, you don't know what the torque specs are, and if you can't find them, just use your best judgment as to what it actually is. This is a little piece of plastic, doesn't weigh very much on the back of the bike. Does it really need to have a good deal of torque on it? So in this case, no. So now the next thing we do is, I'll back this up a little bit here. So we got, so right here, so there are 3 types of these. Well, 2 types actually. So you have 2 that are the same, and they're going to go here on the back and then here on the bottom. And they have another one. This is actually where the bag, whenever it actually, the plate that's over here, whenever that locks into place, it kind of sits on here and then just rolls in. And that's what this is for here. So this one will actually sit in here like this. And then these 2 are going to be the same. So just the 2 pieces. So it'd be the roller and the actual nut. The bolt, I'm sorry. And again, we go back to the 4. Oh. So not 4 on this one. So my guess is it's probably a 5. So let me go grab that real quick. So the other thing that I did when I got up, I wondered if, again, thinking metal on metal. So the 8 Newton meters. So I'm gonna back this off a little bit. And so this is a 5. So make sure we torque this to 8 Newton meters. There we go with that one. And then when we got this, so the T glides up top. Kind of want to make sure that you do that correctly, mostly because it's going to have your gear on it, right? So you don't want to lose it. So make sure you look at the torque spec. So now this is the actual SLC side carrier that's installed. And now the next thing I'm going to do is put together the bag. All right, so now we're on to the setting up the bracket for the actual bag. So in this case, you're going to have obviously the hardware here. You're going to have the back plate, and then you're going to have the piece that actually will attach to the SLC side carrier. So now, in order to put this together, it's comes with directions, just like the other one did. Except this one actually was paper and not online. Drop the nut in there. Come on the back side. Do it that way first, I guess. And then this is actually a 3mm. So I'll get this one started. again, just get it started, just like everything else. Just loose is fine. Oh, looks like here. Oh, that's right. Well, I forgot to say there are actually 3 short and 3 longer ones. So the 3 shorter ones look like they're actually going to go on the top. That is the lower part. There's just a little bit more meat into this here. So same thing. I don't know if this is the easiest way to do it or if there is an easier way. Again, just a little bit. Just as long as you gets the job done, it should be fine. You're not tearing anything up. All right, so to the next one here, longer one. Be nice. These are some of the easier things to do. So yeah, looks like it's easier to put the bolt in the back instead of dropping the nut in there as I flip that one upside down. So obviously make sure the orientation on that's correct. All right, so there are 3 Newton meters of torque on this. Unfortunately, I don't have a 3mm for my torque wrench, and I don't think I got a torque wrench that goes down to 3 Newton meters. So actually, I don't have one. It's not, I don't think I don't have one. So for this, again, I mean, even though it is your luggage, just make it tight. And as with anything, when you do this, and you're especially riding on your motorcycle, check it out. Look at it again. When you're done, you know, go for a ride around, ride around town for a few minutes, put some stuff in there, constantly check so you know, or speeds, and then come in and come back and check it out. See if it actually has moved or has gotten loose, or make sure everything's still in the same spot as it was whenever you installed it. So set it here, come through the top, and then it attaches like that. And then on the inside here, on this side, where we put the different set of bolt combination up here, push down on this, pull it back, and it comes right off. So it is a little bit easier to take off when you got the bag on there. So, and I see the bag. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a few minutes here. Close it up so it's easier to get to put on there. Always checking my orientation. So as you can see, there's already 2. So again, you want it behind. Which makes sense, right? You want it clean. Goes up here. Same this side. I don't know what these are called, little tidy pieces. To the top, and then down. There's not a lot of explanation for this. I think you guys can probably figure that out. It seems kind of loose on there when you do it, which is really no big deal at first. I think just you're going to want to get it on there, and once it's on there, it should be fine. And I think I should have actually, yeah, so this piece right here should go underneath there. So I'm going to loosen that up here real quick and do that. But then also you have on this side Velcro. You know what that's called for your tidy. And it's going to be the same thing. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to just go through here. And of course, you're not going all the way across because of reach. You're just going to go down here, make it tight, and do that on all 4. So not going to bore you with that part of it, but once it's done, I'll show you what it looks like, and then I will put it on the bike. All right, so I got the bag actually tidied up. It's not perfect here, just more so just to kind of get it a little clean so you could see. So on both sides. So, and then I really love these. These things are waterproof. I will do something about this in another video. Maybe go out somewhere and then show you the bags, take them apart, show you what they look like on the inside, what I actually have in there. And it did look like this was a good idea to actually put it behind here. Didn't look and see inside the direction if that's what was required, but this is tighter, it seems like, because I don't think I did that on the last time I did my left side. So, but to get on here, no, it's going to be hard to get in here, but again, 3 points, 3 points. So I always just kind of just set it on top just like this, and then I push down, and then you hear a click. And as you can see, I mean, there's a little bit of wobble here. You'll notice you get a ton of strapping for this. I think most of that is for, you'll see that it does collapse a little bit here. So it can get, even though it's a little harder material, it can get a little bit bigger. So it is, yeah, it's really cool. So I will put the other one on and probably head out for a ride. All right, cheers.